Today, my dad been home since 2017, and I've been telling him about the work that I've been doing. It's just amazing that now we have a relationship that I never thought I was going to have because he was always in and out of prison. But all of the things that I did talk about, and I'm definitely going to get him out one of these days. He's working 6 days a week. He stays busy now, doing more positive things. But one of the things I do is wanted him to be able to tell his testimony. It took for me to have to take myself out of being a child to become an adult to understand that. My father was the second last child of 8 children. My grandfather was a functional drunk, but then actually, no, he lost his mom at 14 years old. So going through life on his own, making choices, getting into the streets, you know, you just get swallowed up. And at the same time, I wanted a father to be there, but he wasn't there for himself because he was chasing something he couldn't get. So now that today, at 35 years old, my dad came home, I was around 28, getting ready to run for Cleveland City Council, and we was trying to figure out what our relationship was. We couldn't figure it out. He was trying to chase back his child that was now a man, and now I was trying to figure out, well, how do I deal with this man when I have other men in my life that has fulfilled their role? But today, we talk sports, we talk politics, we go eat, just anything that you could think of. Now I have a relationship that I'm so proud of, and it's not harping on the fact that he's been in and out of prison. It's more so now I'm telling him that I love him, I appreciate him.
As it goes for this panel, I'm assuming I'm the one that's been out the least amount of time. I've only been out 4.5 years, and I believe I did the most time, 27 years, 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days. Yeah, I counted. And I spent a lot of time in prison programming. In the beginning, I didn't want to be somewhere. I just showed up. I was in 13 different prisons. Some of them I was in up to 5 times. So some I was in 3 times. I would go different places, and that was one of the things that actually helped me. The programming in and of itself, college, certificates, programming, it kept me busy, it kept my mind engaged. But coming home, the best thing ever was my ability to adapt from prison to prison. To go to a new scene and say, let me look around and see what's going on here, find my space in it, and get into my space and make it work for me. So that skill translated into coming home and doing the exact same thing. Looking around, paying attention to what's going on, and finding my space within these spaces, as Damon said, ecosystems.
So I've been in the game. That don't make you a credible messenger. You have lived experiences, but credible messenger is different. How did you do your time, or in that challenge you was in, how did you live through that challenge? What was your theory of change? How did you operationalize that change in there under them circumstances, right? To give you one example, when I was part of NAACP and I was president, my staff advisor was Eddie Young. And those who've been incarcerated, Eddie Young was an institutional investigator, was a narc in Elyria, Lorraine, who locked up most of the dope boys. And when he was 18, he was in the Navy, and he was military police. He'd been a cop all his life. So him as my staff advisor, you know, he wanted to balance. He was in a different stage in his life, and he wanted to create programs. So he really supported programs.
But let me just add something to it. I think the biggest key to that, though, is getting to them while they're still incarcerated. And so right now, with the system got this thing set in place where the system gives us the program. They come in or use some other people to come in and try to give us a reentry of, coming home piece. I think we need something that's built by us, for us, and we need to get in there. I ran a reentry program at Kansas Youth Academy for a few years. We was in there giving them job skills. We taught them how to do applications, resumes. We taught them different skills while they were still in there. And so I think the key to it is preparing our brothers and sisters while they're still in there. But with the right people, though. To get inside of there 90 days, 6 months, and start working with them and, getting them ready to come out here, and then pass them on to the ones that's out here.
Relate to people who don't understand that the interruption of violence is not just do this or do that, but it's giving them a new skill so that they're not at risk of the same risk factors, if you all grew up in Cleveland, that we were able to navigate well or not so well, is giving them an opportunity, an exposure to people, relentless engagement is really, really important. So be mindful when you're engaging with organizations that when we talk about our progress and our success stories, that sometimes it can just be sitting outside somebody's house for hours listening to them talk, or taking them out to eat, or inviting them to your home. And it's hard to articulate that to people because they don't understand how long it took you, how many hours it took you for them to gain your trust and your credibility to want to put down anything that you ask them to, and it's not always.
We get other members of the village involved who don't have the particular kinds of skill sets that, you know, a lot of us have. But Mr. Jones, Mr. Evans, who love our children, really want to do something. How do we get them involved, and what kind of things can we have them to do to assist the kind of work we're doing now?
Tamir Rice got killed in Cadell, but I've been in Willard, Ohio, watching white kids shoot rifles, deer hunting with their parents in front of police, and nothing happens, right? I've been in spaces where, you know, like we got the school to prison pipeline that you spoke of. In Chardon, they had a shooting out there, but they don't have metal detectors in that school. The community fought against that because it teaches a mindset. Yet your kids go to Cleveland Public School every day. We act like we don't even understand that these metal detectors desensitize. Our kids desensitized to that, right? And there is no school shooting. There was one school shooting in the last 30 years at Cleveland Public School, and it was the white boy at Success Tech. It wasn't even one of us.
It's going into the community, building relationships, and not just talking to these individuals, but providing resources so that they can get onto the right track. And it's not telling you what I think, it's telling you what I know, because I've been through it, and not just telling you, but showing you. So when it came to programming, I did a lot of programming, and I started, like Damon, making up programs myself to try to fill gaps. And what that did for me was it showed me how to help people. And I found joy in helping others. I became tutors and aides and all the other stuff. And for lack of a better term, Myra can explain, I was a bootlicker extraordinaire. If they asked me to do something, I was doing it. I ain't care because I just wanted to come home.
You telling the truth?
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did.
And I understood how this can help in de-escalating and mediating with folks, because I had to learn it with me, navigating and negotiating all these different personality types in prison, right? Then from there, I understood the intersectionality of mass incarceration touching social and economic justice type of issues. If we're talking about a person looking for a job and denied that job because of collateral sanctions, this is an economic issue. And they're coming to a neighborhood near you, so we have to ensure they have equitable access, right? Or it turns into a safety issue. When we talk about barring people from being whole citizens, having entitlements to society and the protections of it, because you've outlawed them, which comes from outlawry, then we're talking about a social justice issue. They had a right to be whole citizens. So my new focus has been to help people, agencies, and systems that want to work with credible messengers, help them develop them credible messengers, because it starts with first being a credible human being, and you can do this with youth. And then as a credible human being, that credible messaging extends into your role as a violence interrupter and your role as a mentor.
Now, we are doing prevention now. And so I said, I need to get to these kids in middle school. And so we started dealing with the boys them in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And so, for example, at Hannah Gibbons, so right now I'm the community liaison for Councilman Harrison, Councilman Conwell, and Councilman Polensky. And so we've been at Hannah Gibbons about 6 years now. And so I have a landscaping training program. We are rolling out our basic home repair thing this summer. But for the past 5 years, I've been teaching kids them how, and paying them and teaching them how to do senior citizen, cutting grass in the Huff, St. Clair, Superior, Collinwood neighborhoods. And we've been paying them, and senior citizens get theirs cut for free. And so out of my middle school, I've been there, like I said, about 6 years or so. And so, for example, I had 2 of my kids graduated from back then I had in 6th grade. 2 of them graduated last year. I got 3 more graduating this year. That's going to graduate that I had in 6th grade.
In any work that you're doing, it can't be one person or one organization that can solve it. And too often, because our experiences are ours, we personalize the work and we sometimes can become selfish with it. And when we choose to be selfish with it, our ego mess up the opportunity to build an ecosystem. So you have people who focus in prevention, you have people who focus in intervention, you have people that focus in restorative services. And everybody that does all of this work may not be system impacted. I thank God, I've never been incarcerated. I thank God that I've never been associated with any street gang, although I am a part of a collegiate organization. However, it does not mean, right? It does not mean that when you step in this space that you are not able to do a work. Someone talked about lanes. There's a lane for everybody. If I, at my job, meets a young person who wants to do something with a gun, and I'm like, I'm not the person, even though I'm the executive director, the power is not with me. Who can I get on my team to do the work, to save the life, to interrupt the cycle of violence? And so sometimes we gotta understand that just because we can doesn't mean that we should. And how do we allocate services to other people and other organizations so they can be a part of the entire violence prevention strategy, because it's not just one person or not one organization.
And for me, I just treated it like a job. Like I didn't have a job. So my 8 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 10 to 7, whatever it was looking for a job. So I got up in the morning, got dressed, got my kids off to school, and I was out looking for a job, whether it be networking, talking to council people, just going downtown, talking to my probation officer, probationers, other people, just trying to develop a relationship with other people where I can get connected somewhere, just finding my way. I didn't have time to sit at home. I don't watch TV. I don't smoke cigarettes, don't play the lottery, I don't drink. So there's really nothing to do but grind, get some money. So every day I got up and it was like I was going to work. Didn't have nowhere to go. But I'm going to look for a job. So I always tell people, if you don't have a job, make it your job to find a job.
When the night
Okay.
has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see, I will cry.
Now, if that doesn't feel good, I don't know what does. Come on. Y'all making me be bossy. I'm not trying to be a boss today.
That's what we got. Y'all did good.